The purpose of this video is to become familiar with the YAADL volleyball court and its markings. For the most part, we're going to follow US VBA regulations with one minor little tweak. So let's go ahead and get started, and we'll begin with the more traditional lines, first being the 10-foot line. The 10-foot line is a line that's 10 feet away from the net, and it defines our attack zones. The attack zone goes from the net to the 10-foot line. The purpose of the attack zone is that any back row player who is in front of the 10-foot line is not allowed to strike the ball higher than the level of the net. The 10-foot line also dictates our substitution zone. Players that come in and out of the game need to enter and exit through this area of the court. It goes from the net to the 10-foot line. So if I have a player on my bench and I need them to sub in, I'll tell them to go over to the score table, and they'll stand by the scorer's table until the second ref has time to sub them in during a dead ball. Once the second ref says, go ahead and sub, the player on the court will come to the line, but not leave the court, and the sub will come in and enter the game between the net and the 10-foot line. They'll stand there and wait for the scorer's table to get everything noted down as far as who subbed for who, and at that point the second ref will say go ahead, and the player that was on the court will exit between the net and the 10-foot line and go back to the bench, and the player who is going into the game will just go into position. The other area on our court is the libero replacement zone. This will only apply to our 7th grade players. They're the only kids who are going to use a libero if they want to. And I will, for that reason, I'll go into the libero in a different video. But for this video, we're just going to say that they come in and out of the court in the back, between the 10-foot line and the baseline. So if I have a libero that's coming into the game, during a dead ball, the libero will just run straight into the game. The other player will come right back out, but they both need to enter or exit between the 10-foot line and the baseline. So the next lines we're going to look at are these little dashes on the corners of the court. They basically look like a minor extension to the sidelines. They outline our serving zone. Our serving zones start at the baseline and go back as far as you want to go back. Just try not to take a seat in the front row. And they go from sideline to sideline. So now let's look at some of the lines that are going to be more specific to our league, and they're used in other youth leagues too. First line is going to be our orange lines. They're going to be 20 feet away from the net, 10 feet in from the back row, and that's where our 3rd graders are going to be able to serve from. And then our next line is going to be our yellow lines, which are going to be for our 4th grade and 5th grade servers. They'll be 5 feet in from the back row and 25 feet away from the net. And then that means that our 6th and 7th grade students will serve from the baseline, like a normal volleyball player. So then that means our serving zone for our 3rd graders are from anywhere from the orange line as far back. If you have a 3rd grader who's a strong server, I encourage them to serve from the back row so that they're used to it as they get older. 4th grade serving zones anywhere from the yellow line back, and then of course our 6th and 7th graders will serve behind the baseline. So that's about it. I will make a couple more videos. I'm going to try to keep them short and simple so that they don't get boring. You all have a good day.